Hello, it's me again. Honestly, without looking, I don't even know what day it is without the narcissist. Sorry about the lighting. I just got back and dropped my daughter off at my aunt's. That's where she's been staying while I'm getting this trailer house ready for us, and I've been staying somewhere else. But we had a good father-daughter date. We went to see the new Stephen King's It. I was kind of worried about her going. She's 16. I guess I'm just a protective father. I worry ward, whatever. But nothing scary, frightening a bit. And I mean, it might scare a 5-year-old, but other than that, stick with the original. Today I've struggled a little bit with some feelings, and most of it I've just had to accept that, these are going to come and go. And a lot of it was because of listening to these recordings, because the lawyer does want them. And it's not so much what's going on in there, it's the fact that if I didn't know what I was listening to, I would think I was the problem too. Because, the recordings I always did, they weren't ever in the good times. They're always when she's already pushed my buttons and I've been trying to talk to her for hours and we've done the circle arguments, and it's always during even though we were still in a relationship, it was the discard phase, and there's always that build up to the discard to where they're just treating you like shit and ignoring you like you're a no damn body. And it's just, and time you get that point and you're just, a lot of it was just me asking, can I have some time with you, or can you at least listen to how I'm feeling about this, or shit like that, just trying to talk. And most of the times when I did that, trying to talk about my feelings, it ended up being about hers. And it helps me feel good that I know what happened and I have my truth. And I still have to remember, there were other people around, they did see it. And one of them was my daughter, and she's about to get baptized. And I was telling her on the way back from our evening that I want to be there. And she's like, yeah, I do too, Dad. And I don't want, her ex-stepmom there is what she said. Well, she didn't say that, but I'm trying not to use nobody's name. And I was like, yeah, that's completely up to you. I'm not going to tell you yes or no, because she was your mom for quite a while. And she's like, well, she never really acted like a mom. I said, well, I know. And she said, and another reason I don't want her there is because she told me that I was too bad to get baptized because I lied all the time and I was just a bad girl and all that. And I thought, okay. And I just had to kind of calm myself down, and because, for one, you don't tell a kid that shit. You lift children up. You make them feel better about the positive things in their life. You don't tear them down about the bad stuff. Show them a better way. Teach them. Guide them. But I tried to explain to her, I said, just whenever you have memories like that, act like she's looking in a mirror or something like that. She wasn't really talking to you. She was talking to you about herself. Whenever she says something negative like that, she's really talking about herself, and she didn't want to face that. So she just put it off on someone else. And that's all I said to her. I said, it wasn't you. You did nothing wrong. But I had to calm down a little bit from that. Still praying every day. And I used to be a really religious kind of fella. And that's where the first triangulation started that I noticed, and that was right before her affair, is she triangulated church against me. And I never really imagined people being so gullible, but I can't really say anything because I was just as gullible. I was right there in it, and I still bit that hook. So I can't really be mad at them or nothing, but she's actually using the same people again, and you think they would have learned from the last time. But I went back to her too, And they say that's one of the things you usually do, and I never thought about that. I was like, well, I never left her before, but I didn't leave her, she left me, and I still took her back. So I've had my chances to escape, and it's just, It's an addiction, man. I know I'm a codependent. I'm gonna be a former codependent because I'm getting my own legs back, man. I'm building myself back up. This ain't the first time I've had to start over, but this is the first time I've had to start over rebuilding me. This woman has caused me, I couldn't tell you how many times, at least 4 or 5, to start completely over from scratch. And this will be the last time. She's going to be a pain in my side for at least 8 more years, because then my son will be 18. And I'm sure by then, when I get him back, I'm just gonna let him figure it out for himself, because when I was growing up, I had that shit. People telling me how bad my mom was and stuff, and that's not a good thing. It's not conducive to be beneficial to me as a child, when I was a child. But that's about where I'm at. I'm still doing better day by day. It's like anything, and it's not really like a normal breakup, and I'm sure most of y'all know that. I mean, normal breakup, you have pain and stuff, but you don't really have the withdrawal. And that's what I believe a codependent is, man. You're just like a heroin addict for that love, that attention, and you don't care how to get it. You just know that right now this person's giving it to you, and you want it. And it doesn't matter what they say to you or how they treat you, because you don't feel like you deserve it without that. And, I do. And I know that. But believing it inside is a completely different story. And, there's a big difference between what you know up here and what you know in here. And they don't always jive. But I keep hearing this thing about authentic, just be authentic, be authentic. Well, I'm gonna be authentic once I figure out what my authentic is. And I'm doing it day by day. And to anybody out there, I encourage you to make these kind of videos, man. It helps me so much. I like that people watch them, I've got 6 subscribers, and dude, that blows my mind that 6 people would even care about what I'm saying. It's getting darker, I know, and I'm sorry. But, it's an awesome thing. But for one, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. And I did sign up on Facebook, and I actually had to change my name a little bit. And one reason I did it is I just felt like I was starting over, so I just happened to have one of those names where I could drop part of it and still have a name. My actual birth name is Steven, and I dropped the ST off of it and just go by Evan now. And that's gonna be me. I like the name Evan. I think it's a sweet name. It's cool. A lot better than Steven. I'm just, 37 years of hearing that crap, and I'm done with hearing it, because I don't know. I'm reinventing myself. And you can do that. Anybody out there, that if you're not happy the way you are, man, reinvent yourself. Be who you need to be happy. Quit suffering out there, just trying to make other people happy, or whatever it is, trying to make yourself happy by suffering. Suffering does not bring happiness. I don't know of any time it did. Now, suffering usually comes from not knowing something. So I would say suffering brings education. Suffering brings you enlightenment. But happiness comes from within, and that's just something you have to decide to do and be. It's like anything else. It's what you believe is what you create, and that's why I quit trying to be so negative. And I have a lot of that negative shit in me, man. I went from being an optimistic kid to a pessimistic adult, and now I'm going to be an optimistic adult, a realistic. I'm not going to swallow everything just hook, line, and sinker anymore. I'm going to look at that shit for a minute. I'm going to take my time to decide, do I want to bite on that hook or not? And I really encourage people to decide who you are. Even if you are in a bad relationship, before you leave it, man. Because I know I was listening to these recordings, and there's a lot of stuff in there that I do know I need to work on. There's a lot. And it's not just the fact that she would make me angry and drive me to that point. It's just, I heard things inside of me that let me know that I've still got some issues, and I would hear things and the way I would say things and express thoughts and feelings, and I would go, well, you know what, in my head that's not the guy that I think I am, so what's the problem here? And I know the guy that I want to be. I know the man that I want to be, the father I want to be, and maybe someday the husband I want to be. But right now I'm really digging this me stuff, man. It's 37 years of me giving to everybody else. And if you're like me, people always come up to you expecting you to hear their problems, but out of nowhere. I mean, I've been on job sites, and because I had a roofing construction company, been on job sites, just met people, and they would just completely open up to you, and you're like, I'm just here for the roof, right? I'm not a counselor. I never would say that. I'd be, accommodating and all that, and that's a different story. But if anybody else has got something like that going on, hit me up. Like it, share it, whatever, because I'm really interested in talking to more people about this stuff, and I got a lot going on right now. I may not always get to your comments. Not that I have a lot, but the ones I get, dudes, I appreciate them, guys. Really, honestly, I do. And just decide who you want to be before you leave a relationship, because it's going to be a lot harder to decide while you're in the mix of a lot of horse shit. Especially if you're with a narcissist, there's going to be horse shit. It's going to get stinky, and you don't want to get drugged back down. You want to leave knowing exactly the person you want to be. You want to know, when I walk out that door, that's the beginning of my new life. That's the beginning of me. I'm leaving that old shit behind. I'm leaving that shit with her or him, whatever floats your boat. But I guess I'm gonna get off here because it's getting dark. But I would appreciate if you shared this stuff around, and any comments. Like I said, I'll get back to you. But God bless y'all, man. Thank y'all.